This is Olivia with my vlog for the week. So the class is pretty much coming to an end. This past week we were meant to have a mentoring session with Tommaso, but he was still going over time with some of the other people he was meant to meet before us. And then instead of wanting to cut into class time, he asked if we would just pitch again in front of the entire class, and then he would give us feedback there. He seemed kind of like upset at us, even though we were actually early for our sign-up slot. But in any case, we decided to pitch in front of the class, and then gave us feedback, and that was actually really, really helpful, because after we pitched, he went side by side to point out the things that he thought we should work on, and like told us really specifically what we could improve before this coming Monday. And I found that to be really helpful, because I think that the feedback that we got from the people who were at our two other pitches was pretty broad, and like we got scores in the rubric rather than specific tangible things that we should fix. And that's what Tommaso provided us. And so I remade the entire deck, and it should be like a lot more clear now, and kind of fit the structure that we need, as well as include the things we were missing before. And so I'm pretty excited to be presenting that. I think like consistently throughout the weeks, our team has struggled with like communication, and that's still definitely the case, unfortunately, even at the end. Just in terms of like not being super responsive, and then at the same time it's kind of hard, which I could feel like if this were to be like a real company, and then there are the people who are working more on like the product side versus the people who are working more on the business plan side. From my perspective, like I can't help with that other part of it, and so that's really hard for me, because I have no control over whether it gets finished or not. And so then it's basically me just updating them on what I've been doing, and then asking them to update me on, or Nafe specifically, on what he's been working on. So that is definitely like a point of frustration that I think like we've all kind of learned from throughout the semester, but then I think just goes to show that if you are to do this in real life, like you need to have people who you trust also like working on the project with you. But I have no doubt that he will be able to finish it in the end, and then we'll have something to show for the product side. And then we are meeting up to practice. I think presentation is everything. Even if our idea isn't the best or our demo isn't the best, I do still think that it comes down to like those couple of minutes and how you frame the problem that you're solving and your solution. And so we're meeting up to work on that. And yeah, overall, like reflecting is definitely a really interesting class to take, especially because it's not just sitting in a classroom learning, but your entire grade is based off of like you and your company and what you're able to produce throughout the weeks. And so even though as a single person, there's only so much that I can do for this team and for this project, especially on the product side, but in the end, the grade is based off of, like their grade is based off of me, and my grade is also based off of them. And while like that's not the situation you want to be in a class, I think that it is representative of if you start a company, like the success of it is dependent upon every person, and there's no splitting like, like even if like there's just no way to have it be graded in a way that like I wish it would be, because that's the reality of starting a company. And so I guess this class mimics that. So overall, yeah, like definitely been putting in time this week to come in on Monday with the best pitch we possibly can have, and like applying the very tangible advice that Tommaso provided us last week, and we are excited to present what we have.